Good day, how are you? Thanks for joining us on campus and welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Nick Batters, the man on my left. It's a new face at the anchor desk, but we're so glad to have him, Tyler Manion. Tyler, I have to be honest with you, this is the fourth show that I've anchored this semester. You're the fourth different anchor partner. Now I'm glad to say that you've gotten the call up to the major leagues, but I really hope you stick around and this isn't like a September call-up situation.
Nick, I got to stop you right there. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. This is probably going to be my only show. You're going to have to find another partner next week. Maybe you can get one of the old ones back.
Okay, that's
But
right.
I'm hoping for a good show.
Glad to have you here. Very glad to have you.
And you know who else has been a good show to watch?
Who?
It's Sun Devil Hoops.
True.
They finished up regular season play on Saturday in Tucson, and our own Chancellor Johnson was there to capture all the action and reaction from the victory.
On Saturday afternoon, ASU walked into the McKell Center and did something they haven't done in a decade, and that's get a win here in Tucson. Behind Ruby Martin's 27 points, ASU completed the regular season sweep of the Wildcats with a final score of 72-64.
It's a great rivalry. I wanted to do as best as I can for this team to win. We worked extremely hard. We deserved it, and I'm just happy we got the win.
We just went to war. I mean, these games are what you live for. That's why college basketball is great. You get these rivalries, and you get the type of energy in the building, and you got to overcome all that. It's pretty special when you can accomplish it.
We just kept our composure and everything. We kept playing with each other and everything, and we didn't like think about everybody that was in the crowd and everything. So we just played hard.
With the win, ASU remains on the right side of the bubble, but they'll have a chance to move the needle with a strong showing in the Pac-12 tournament next week. At the McKell Center, Chancellor Johnson, Cronkite Sports.
With that Territorial Cup win, the Devils are looking good going into the Pac-12 tournament. And to bring us some insight on what to expect from Vegas over the next couple days, our WCSN basketball reporters Eliav Gabay and Braden Bell, who join us live from Sin City. So guys, the Devils have won 2 games in a row, but it's going to take another 3 to win the Pac-12 tournament. What does this team have to do even better to make that happen?
Yeah, to me, the key has got to be for them making free throws. I mean, you got to do the easy things first, the simple stuff first, and obviously that's come and gone for them throughout the season. So the Sun Devils, they can take care of that charity stripe. It's going to be a lot better for them throughout, of course, the tournament.
Okay, you won't hear an argument from me there. You're right, but I'm going to go not so simplistic. How about consistency and more efficiency from beyond the arc? This is a team that has struggled with that at times, but when they're stroking it from downtown, they're as good as anyone, not only in this conference, but they can compete with anyone in the nation.
That's for sure.
Okay, so other than the 3 all Pac-12 honorees, meaning Cheatham, Martin, and Dort, who needs to step up in these upcoming games for the Devils to really be successful?
To me, it's got to be the big man play, and that's going to be Romello White. Down low, when he's gotten going, he's created space, this team is so much better. When he scores 10 or more points throughout the regular season, they're 9-3. So if Romello White can get hot, so will this team.
All right, 2 for 2. I like both of them. I'm going with Rob Edwards, and I know that's kind of a sexy pick, if you will. Mention the 3-point efficiency. He's that guy that can do that. He can be that X factor, and he can also pop off and go for 30. We saw that at Utah. He's a very, very dangerous scorer, so I'm going with Rob.
Okay, so lastly, guys, got to do it. Going to put you on the spot here. How far is ASU going in this thing?
Oh, my God. All right. Well, here we go, Braden. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say, since we've seen this team rise to the occasion every single time.
Is he going to do it?
Throughout the season, we've seen them rise to the occasion. They're going to do it. I think they will win the Pac-12 tournament, and that's really bold. I don't even feel comfortable saying that.
All right. I'm not even going to go that far. They'll be playing on Saturday, and that also scares me to say. Yeah. I mean, this team, like you said, we don't know what could happen. They've been so inconsistent, but I think we'll have some Sun Devil hoops here on Saturday, and that'll be very exciting.
Well, thanks for coming on, fellas. Great stuff, as always. To follow along with everything else Braden and Eliav have to say, along with the rest of WCSN's men's basketball coverage, go to cronkitesports.com.
After the 2 worst years in program history, it's really hard to ask for a better start to the ASU baseball season than what the team has done so far in 2019. Hunter Bishop is finally starting to play to his true potential. Lyle Lynn leads the Pac-12 in runs batted in, and 8 of the team's 12 pitchers have an ERA under 2. The Devils are a perfect 15-0 and have outscored opponents 161-45. Over our week off, they added Cal State Fullerton and Xavier to their list. Now, to better understand what we've been witnessing at Muni, we welcome in Jessica Carnevale to break down what ASU has done to this point. And Jessica, to put it frankly, after a pair of down seasons, especially last year for ASU, why has the team come out so strong this year?
Yeah, so ASU is already 15-0, so they've come out really strong to start the season. Last season they had a few clubhouse issues, and then they come back with a smaller roster and have already came out really strong. I think it's because of their offensive performance. They've been slugging their way through the games. The three top hitters, Bishop, Hauver, and Torkelson, are just leading the team in hits and home runs. Together they have 15 home runs. Trevor Harbor is Hunter Bishop has already hit 8 home runs and was the Pac-12 Player of the Week. So the team is just really performing offensively very well, taking every at-bat to heart and making sure they hit good pitches. The team's shown a lot of maturity at the plate, and every player on the starting roster is hitting over 300.
You talk about it, everyone's hitting over 300, but that roster size is a little smaller. The cap for college baseball rosters is 35 players, but ASU only has 25 on the roster. Only 24 have played this season. How has that affected the season so far?
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that. ASU definitely has a small roster this year, but the team has gotten used a lot of creativity in these few games. We've seen a lot of versatility from Carter Aldretti too. He's played infield and outfield for ASU, and Drew Swift has already been injured this season, so we've seen Miles Denson step in and perform offensively and defensively for ASU.
15 wins in a row to start the season, really impressive. But tonight they face a challenge in a very good New Mexico State team that's hitting like crazy. They're 14-3 this year. And this weekend, Pac-12 play begins. They welcome Washington State to Tempe. So what can fans expect through Pac-12 play in the rest of the regular season?
Yeah, so I think it's a little unrealistic to think that they're going to continue this win streak through the complete rest of the season. But going into Pac-12 play, they have the potential to go 16-0. So they really just got to keep up their offense and continue to win games to put them in a winning season.
Pitching, hitting, always going to be important. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your insight and analysis. Again, the Sun Devils this weekend are hosting Washington State, but tonight it's New Mexico State, 6:30 p.m. You can watch that game on Pac-12 Plus with our own Steven Cusimano, or if you want to follow all of Jessica's content covering the baseball team online, head over to CronkiteSports.com and click on that baseball tab up at the top.
While ASU baseball and basketball were in action last Saturday, you probably missed something even bigger. In Birmingham, Alabama, 3 Sun Devils competed in the indoor track and field national championships. First, Samantha Nanig was crowned the NCAA shot put queen with her final throw, besting the runner-up by just 2 centimeters. The crazy thing though, Nanig is only a sophomore. Remember Maggie Ewan, arguably the most dominant athlete in the last decade of ASU and 4-time national champ? She wasn't even a champion until her junior season and still trains with Nanig, who has over 2 more years of her college career to dominate. But she wasn't the only Devil to earn first-team All-American honors. On the track, William Paulson earned 5th in the mile, capping off an impressive indoor season. In doing so, he became the first man in school history to earn first-team All-American honors in the event. Going into the outdoor season, these Sun Devils will be fun to watch as they look to add to their already impressive resumes.
Over this past weekend, Sun Devil softball went 4-1, thanks to, like the screen indicates, a little Mo magic. Senior outfielder Morgan Howe quietly led the team to a 4-win weekend. Why quietly? Well, Jade Gortaras went 7 for 14 with 7 runs batted in. Freshman Abby Anderson won 3 games, pitching 18 1/3 innings with just 2 earned runs allowed. Kendra Hackbarth hit for the cycle in just 4 plate appearances on Friday. Then on Saturday, Kendra's sister Maddie hit possibly the longest home run Club Farrington has ever seen. 5'5" Bella Loomis, ASU's number 9 hitter, went 6 for 13 in the 5 games with 12 RBIs and 4 home runs. But statistically, Howe still had the best weekend. Mo had 9 hits over 15 at-bats, a .600 batting average, including 2 hits in each of the last 4 games of the weekend. She drove in 7 runs and hit 3 home runs, including a walk-off against James Madison and a solo shot that nearly turned the tables against Michigan. After a successful ASU Invitational, the Devils hosted Lehigh last night, who they beat 4-1 on Saturday. Then again yesterday, Tuesday, 14-0. WCSN senior Jay Chairez was there, and he has more.
The number 17 ranked ASU Sun Devils played host to the Lehigh Mountain Hawks Tuesday night and left Farrington Stadium with a shutout. Freshman pitcher Abby Anderson was pitching lights out and came just 1 hit away from throwing a perfect game. Anderson had a very efficient evening and struck out 4 batters while only throwing 55 pitches in just 5 innings. Head coach Trisha Ford gave her thoughts on what Anderson brought to the table.
She had a great game today, and just that's what I'm more proud of. She's put out some good outings the last this past weekend, and then today she did a really great job of coming out
After pitching a second straight complete game shutout and securing another win under her belt, Anderson improved to 7-3 on the year. In addition to Anderson's stellar performance, the offense was putting up runs in a hurry by scoring 4 runs in each of the first 2 innings. A notable highlight among all that scoring comes from Morgan Howe, who put the boosters on to score this in-park home run in the 3rd inning.
I was like rounding second base, and I took a really big turn, and I was like, okay, cool, I can triple, and I see her go like this. I was like, oh, shoot, okay. With as little as our park is, to know that I'm fast enough to get around those bases, that's just cool. So it was exciting.
Following that Howe homer, ASU put up 3 more runs to put the nail in the coffin. Final score, Arizona State 14, Lehigh nothing. Lehigh was the final non-conference opponent for ASU, and the Sun Devils now look forward to the upcoming Pac-12 play.
We're going to kick, gnaw, fight, scratch, bite, whatever we got to do to get some wins. So that's what conference is about. That's why you love it.
With the win over the Mountain Hawks, the Sun Devils captured their 20th victory of the season and ended their non-conference schedule on a high note before hosting the Oregon State Beavers on Friday. Coming from Tempe, for Cronkite Sports, I'm CJ Chides.
While softball starts league play on Friday, Sun Devils women wrapped up their Pac-12 championships over the weekend. For ASU, the headliner was Zach Pody, who became the first Sun Devil to win the 100 backstroke and set a school record in the process. This was just the beginning for Pody, though, who went on to podium in the 200 back along with the 400 freestyle team relay. In swimming, Pac-12s offer a place for athletes to punch their ticket to NCAAs, as several Devils did. ASU notched 2 A cuts, directly qualifying Pody and the 400 free relay for nationals, along with 13 B cuts, which enter those athletes into at-large consideration. Dive, however, is slightly different. From the E-Zone Championships in Flagstaff, Youssef Salim and Ashley McCool both qualified for nationals. Salim in the 1-meter springboard, and McCool in the 3-meter board. The NCAA Swim and Dive Championships will be held in Austin, Texas, starting March 20th. But now we transition before that back to dry land as we bring in WCSN women's basketball reporters Gabby Ducharme and Gareth Kwok, who were both in Las Vegas last weekend for the Pac-12 tournament. Gareth, I'll start with you. ASU lost to UCLA in the 2nd round last weekend. What kind of concerns do they have coming out of their time in Vegas?
Well, I think the 2 big things that concerned me were turnovers and fouls. I mean, Charlie Turner-Thorne said after the loss against UCLA on Friday, they're not a team that is known to turn the ball over a whole lot, nor do they foul a whole lot. Yet against the Bruins on Friday, they fouled the Bruins 18 times, as well as 3 players in 4 fouls each. And then you can see here, they just had way too many turnovers. Round 1 versus Colorado, 16, 17 against UCLA. They only averaged a little over 12 for the whole regular season. Riley Richardson, one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the conference, season high 5 turnovers against UCLA. I mean, these are just a lot of unordinary things to happen in this tournament, and it's concerning considering that the NCAA tournament is right around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Gabby, one thing that was definitely working for this ASU team was that bench, that second unit. What did you see from them?
I really saw a second unit that completely took over the basketball game, especially when they played against UCLA. They were down by as many as 15 points in that 3rd quarter, and Sophia Alenga, the senior, coming off the bench, totally leading that second unit. If you look at that graphic, you're really going to see Alenga's only averaged about 6 points a game, but she really stepped up big in the Pac-12 tournament. Jamie Reardon and Kiara Russell, once again, 2 veteran players coming off that bench. They completely led this Arizona State team and almost led them to one of their biggest comeback victories in tournament history this past weekend. It's a bummer that they came up short, but the impact of this bench it's really going to show through once they enter NCAA play.
Now, turning to the future, ASU will find out its seed and matchup in the NCAA tournament on Monday. So, Gareth, where do you think they'll end up?
Well, currently they're ranked 23rd according to the Associated Press, and the results of the Pac-12 tournament I don't think boosted their resume in regards to what they have done already. I think my best guess is that they'll be a 5 or 6 seed. I'm going to be a little optimistic and say the 5th seed. ASU has done really well in getting statement wins against Oregon State, as well as taking out most of the bottom half of the Pac-12, but they weren't able to get those huge statement wins like over a Stanford or Oregon. And so I think overall they're going to sit at around 5 or 6 in the NCAA tournament this season.
And I think most Sun Devil fans will be pretty happy with that. So, Gabby, we'll give you the final word here. After that tough exit from the Pac-12 tournament, what should the team's mindset be?
The team really needs to go into NCAA play with the mindset that they're going to rebound, get on the glass like they have all season, as well as lock down defensively. They really cannot continue to commit bad turnovers like they did in that UCLA game offensively, and they need to begin forcing other opponents to make silly mistakes on their offensive end of the ball. If they end up doing that where they defensive rebound as well as get out on the run and lock in defensively doing their game that they've done all season, then I think this team can be a force to be reckoned with come March Madness time. I think they could make it all the way to potentially the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. They're a veteran squad who's got a lot of great leadership on that front end.
Wow, strong words there from Gabby Ducharme. Thanks, guys. Stay with Gareth and Gabby and the rest of our WCSN coverage team for the NCAA tournament in the coming weeks. For more on the Sun Devils' result in Vegas, we turn to WCSN reporter Emmy Keenan, who has Coach Charlie Turner-Thorne's reaction to ASU's finish in the Pac-12 tournament.
The Pac-12 women's basketball tournament started off with a strong start for the Arizona State women's basketball team when they played Colorado Boulder, winning the game 66-49. But that sweet feeling of victory didn't last long as the ladies took on number 4 UCLA the following day.
We just got to a slow start. Really our defense. We weren't locked in. We were switching screens we shouldn't have switched. We were playing soft. So we just really let them throw the first punch and kind of jump on us. And then we came down and we didn't get terrible shots, but we kind of settled. We didn't because they like to come out pressuring. And so we talked about, hey, let's just, really jam it down the throat. So we kind of settled. So we weren't really going well on either end of the floor to start the game. We settled down. We fought back.
After being down the entirety of the first half, the Sun Devils picked up their pace in the third quarter, but soon lost hope of advancing in the tournament as the fourth quarter showed their field goal percentage dropped more than 20%, losing the game 73-69. Reporting for Cronkite Sports, I'm Emmy Keenan.
Nothing but fire women's basketball coverage in Las Vegas this past weekend. Emmy, all of the women's basketball coverage team, thanks so much. Now, we're going to dive into one of my favorite parts of the show. It's This Week in Sun Devil social media, and for that, we bring in the Jose Canseco of Cronkite Sports Live. It's Mr. Jacob Rudner. Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm good. The excellence without the steroids is here in studio. I'm excited to bring some good Sun Devil tweets. Again, once more on Cronkite Sports Live, and I say that we just jump right in and get started.
Let's do it.
We're going to go actually to the baseball field, so the perfect Jose Canseco comp. Got Tracy Smith and Greg Powers, and Tracy Smith perfectly placed on Wild Thing, and okay, Greggy Haywood likes the hard stuff. Don't leave anything over the plate. See you at 6:13, and there he is. Greg Powers, first pitch, not a strike.
Not bad, though.
But not a bad pitch. My question for you guys, if you could combine to make a power coach of any two ASU coaches, who's it going to be?
Honestly, I have to go with the two guys that we saw right there. Tracy Smith doing unprecedented things with the baseball team this year, especially with how things have gone in the past, and Greg Powers. It's a really cool story. He played at ASU, he played club hockey, and now he's the coach of one of the best NCAA teams in the country.
I breathed a sigh of relief. I'm glad you didn't take mine because it's the obvious choice. Bobby Hurley, Herm Edwards, two most entertaining guys on this campus. Put them together. Unbeatable combination.
Can't argue with either of them. I got to go with Nick's, though. I'm a big Greg Powers and Tracy Smith guy. That's my dynamic duo as we hop right into tweet number 2. It's going to be from ASU softball's Kendra Hackbarth. Wise words from Coach Harger. Quote, a rise ball is like a bad boyfriend. They look good but treat you bad, and they will keep coming back until you learn to stay away from them. Rise balls giving people problems just like a bad boyfriend. And my question is, what's your real-life bad boyfriend situation? What bothers you more than anything in this world, like a rise ball for Coach Harger? Tyler, we'll start with you.
Oh, this is an easy one, Jacob. Nick, come on. Okay, there's two doors, right? One, you go through. The other people go through. Going this way, right? Come back and forth. You go through the right door.
Right.
Not like the correct. No, the right side is the door you go through. When you go through the left door, you're hitting someone going the other way, and it's not okay. Don't get upset at me because I hit you when I'm going through the right door. Go through the proper door, please.
Tyler's fired up about this. I'm gonna go off your page, take a little further. I hate bad doors, like when you don't know if you should push or pull.
Okay.
Doors should be obvious. You should know when you're walking into a door if you're going to push it or you pull. Like, am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. You guys just want to know which way it is when you're opening a door.
Pretty simple.
And the way it is right now is we're going to go into tweet number 3. It's going to start out with a tweet from Chris Cartman. He says, kind of tough decision for Pac-12 coaches. Lays it out. Who do you got to pick if it's going to go for the all Pac-12 conference candidates? Cheatham, Dort, Martin. Sun Devil source, quote, tweets Mr. Cartman and says, will be announced today. What do you do? And then the one and only Doug Tamaro says, well, we're going to post a release on our website. Nice response from Mr. Tamaro. Guys, in all seriousness, though, if you can only pick one of them, who's going on that all-conference team?
Doug Tamaro.
Great pick.
Doug Tamaro's on my all-conference team. One of the best SADs in the game. Chris Cartman would also be a good pick, but on a serious note, I'll go with Remy Martin. He's so fun to watch in the court. I mean, you're a better basketball guy than I am, though. What do you have?
Yeah, I respect the Remy Martin pick. I agree. Doug Tamaro, fantastic, as always. Great troll on Twitter. But I'm going to have to go with Zylan Cheatham. Z, he's the guy. He does everything you need him to do. You want him to get 20 rebounds, he's going to do it. You want him to get triple-double, he's going to do it. You want him to lead the team emotionally and on the court, he's going to do it. Zylan Cheatham deserved that first-team All-Pac-12 honor.
Absolutely, and for me, it's got to be exactly what Tyler just said, going with Mr. Tamaro, the best guy behind the court, and then for my on-the-court pick, it's got to be Zylan Cheatham, and that's going to do it for me today. The Jose Canseco of social media, that's it.
Jacob, great stuff as always. Appreciate you being here. Around this time of year, strength of schedule always gets brought up. A team with a good record gets doubted for not playing strong enough opponents, and there are arguments made both ways. Normally, I'd be talking about college basketball bubble. But with ASU baseball sitting pretty at 15-0 and softball holding at 17th in the nation, the true quality of these teams may be something to question. Luckily for both, we'll know soon enough as our own Jackson Zuber breaks down in this week's edition of Impact.
Conference play is starting up in the Pac-12 for both baseball and softball, and I'm going to bring you through some things to look out for and the best matchups over the first weekend. Starting over with baseball, undefeated ASU plays Washington State in what should be a good matchup for them to be able to keep up the winning ways they've been on to start the year. In what should be a very interesting matchup, defending national champion Oregon State, who after beating rival Oregon on Tuesday in the Civil War matchup, has a tough series against UCLA, who is 4th in Pac-12 overall record. So keep an eye on that one. But the story will still be whether or not ASU can keep up their hot start to the season and stay undefeated through Pac-12 play. Now, moving over to the other diamond, Pac-12 action in softball begins this weekend with two other teams looking to stay hot as number 1 UCLA travels to play number 2 Washington. Both teams have 22 wins to start this year, and this early matchup could be a key factor in who will win the Pac-12. Another good matchup is on the cards this weekend as ASU sits at 20 wins on the season and welcomes in Oregon State in what should be a hard-fought series of two of the toughest teams in the Pac-12. Now, as the calendar starts flipping towards summer and the weather begins to heat up outside, these Pac-12 matchups are a step ahead and are already bringing the heat. Back to you guys.
ASU wrestling is pretty good. The Sun Devils hosted the 2019 Pac-12 championships this past weekend, and while they couldn't three-peat as conference champions, there was still plenty of success on the mats. ASU had Pac-12 champions in 3 straight matches. Christian Pagdaleo won at 157 pounds, Josh Shields won at 165, and Zahid Valencia came out on top at 174 pounds. As a result, all 3 earned automatic qualifications to the NCAA championships in Pittsburgh later on this month. On top of all of this, Ryan Milhoff and Josh Maruko finished in second place at 125 and 149 respectively to qualify for NCAAs as well. Cronkite Sports has covered the team all season long and will continue to through Pittsburgh. Keep it locked at cronkitesports.com to see what Zeke Jones and his squad do in a couple of weeks.
And now it's time for The Way It Is. If you don't know how it works, you clearly haven't watched the show. But basically, we're going to ask Troy 3 questions, debate a little bit, and Nick, Troy is going to decide who had the best debate, who made the best arguments, and that person gets to rant. So first question for you, Nick. How do you think ASU Hoops does in Las Vegas this weekend?
I don't think they win the tournament. Okay. I think they'll make it to the championship game, but they're going to have a nice little ASU performance and fizzle out in that championship game. I don't see a way that they win the entire thing, but I think they make it to the championship.
Okay. I feel like that's pretty optimistic. I think they win one game and then kaput. They're gone out of the tournament, but ready to be in NCAA tournament a week later.
Honestly, I won't be surprised if that happens. Now, shifting to a team that's a little more consistent, ASU baseball entering Wednesday, a perfect 15-0. Do you think they stay perfect after the first weekend of Pac-12 play this weekend against Washington State?
Nick, honestly, I can't say I do. This team has been so great, pitching, hitting, everything, but I don't know, I just have this weird feeling that one of these games is going to be lost.
They struggled against Washington State last year. I think they're going to come back this year. I mean, you said the offense has been great, the pitching has been great, and I think that continues through this weekend. Next weekend's going to be a challenge with Oregon, but for now, I think they stay perfect.
Okay. Now we're going to get a little fun here.
Let's do it.
All right. What is the most overused meme on ASU Twitter?
That's tough. There are a lot of good memes on ASU Twitter. There are also a lot of bad ones and some that are overused. There's one above my head right now. It's the one where you're slamming the button.
Okay.
And I think that's just used too much. I love the Sun Devil social media, the Sun Devil Athletics accounts, but I feel like they just use that in too many situations. I wish it was used a little less, and I feel like it's lost its value at this point.
I see what you're saying there, I really do, but I'm going to have to go off the screen here, a little out of the box. I'm going to go with the U of A blew a 19-point lead, and I understand that that's great, and it's always going to get under U of A fans' skin, but honestly, Sun Devil fans, you have so much more to be proud of than that. You got a sweep over U of A basketball this season. Use that, get some originality, change it up every once in a while.
That's fair. I can tell you're fired up about this. That's one of those things that you just see used, and it's another thing that's lost its value. It's been a long time since that's happened.
Troy, come on. You know who needs to win this. I need this win more than ASU needs to win in the Pac-12 tournament. Please.
More than ASU baseball needs to beat New Mexico State tonight.
Yeah, that'd be big. Any decision, any moment, boom. There it is. Tournament. That word, as you can probably figure out, is tournament. No, not tournament, tournament. Around this time of year, I hear people all around me pronounce this word incorrectly. If it was tournament, there wouldn't be the letter O. Right now, it feels like there are high school seniors around the ASU campus at all times. Those kids aren't on a tour, they're on a tour. The root of the word is simple and should be understood the way it deserves. Just like Bobby Hurley, who has his team on the verge of back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. When you think about the Sun Devil head coach, don't misunderstand him as a guy begging for a technical. There is so much more than that. Think of him as a coach furiously standing up for his players, a guy who can manage to go forehead to forehead with an official without getting a technical foul. Sure, every once in a while his antics will send the opposing team to an empty lane for free throws, but it is this kind of passion that makes him a player's coach. Before the first Territorial Cup matchup this season, Hurley reportedly ran a sprint for every point his past ASU teams had lost to Arizona by. That would be 92 sprints. Now, his Sun Devils have swept the Wildcats from Tucson for the first time in a decade and hold the 2 seed in the conference tournament for just the 4th time in 41 years. From practices without shots to sideline antics and a win over the #1 team in the country, everything about Bobby Hurley needs to be properly understood. And that's the way it is.
Tyler Manion, that's one of the best the way it is readers I have seen in the history of this show. We were off last week, so we have top 5 places in the last couple of weeks. We're going to start out at Club Farrington. Maddie Hackbarth, holy cow, the longest home run I've ever seen hit in the history of ASU softball at Farrington Stadium. The longest home run Mark Jezek, the SAD, has seen hit at Farrington Stadium. That was a mammoth 2-run blast that cleared the palm trees. ASU won that game 4-1.
I think she might have been seeing a random drug test after that one. But number 4, we have Yusuf Salim winning the Pac-12 championships with this dive right here. Look at that. I don't even know what all those flips and spins are. There's so many of them, and then a absolutely perfect landing. Brilliant splash. Incredible from Yusuf Salim.
I couldn't do that. Softball is good for the brand, so we're going to go back to Farrington for play number 3. It's Morgan Howe. A little Mo magic with the walk-off. ASU was down 4-2 into the bottom of the 7th, and she won it with the second home run of the inning. Morgan Howe doing great things for ASU softball.
Boom, walk-off. From walk-off to walk-off, how about a torque bomb? You already know who it is. It's Spencer Torkelson, the absolute beast from ASU baseball, taking them over the top of Michigan State with that walk-off. They would end up winning because of that, 8-5, beating Michigan State. See it one more time. It just sounds so sweet off the bat. And man, that kid can really play. You're going to see him in the big leagues soon enough. I'm sure of it.
Well, that won the game literally for ASU. It was this throw from Money Miles Denson. The tag from Sam Ferry. You have got to be kidding me. Skip said it after the game. If Miles Denson doesn't make that throw, we lose the game. We call Money Miles for a reason. The Bishop Gorman product making all of Las Vegas proud. Look at that throw on the money. Sam Ferry, the perfect tag. That kept ASU season alive, and there is nothing you can do to convince me otherwise. I am all on the Miles Denson hype train.
That was a cannon. Man's got an arm. Jeez.
Talk about money. This show, Tyler, absolute money. Glad that you were able to be here. This was fun.
Nick, this was an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me alongside you.
Absolutely. We're going to be back here Friday next week. Join us. For Tyler Manion, I'm Nick Batters, and the entire production crew. We appreciate you spending a little bit of your Wednesday with us. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week.